Hello everyone, it's Steve, and today I've got another box with some more electronics in it. This is going to be a quick follow-up video to my most recent video that showcased what happens when you buy any small size of electronics order from a large-scale commercial distributor. I want to compare and contrast two reasonably sized commercial distributors that deal somewhat in the same space. One is more specialized than the other, and I want to show what happens when you buy from the second one. In this case, I'm talking about Texas Instruments. That's these guys right here. You might have heard of them. They do things like speak and spells and graphing calculators, but that's not what I have in this box. In this box is something that Texas Instruments is very famous for, and those are integrated circuits, specifically TTL, or transistor logic chips. These are 7400 series logic chips, or 7400 series compatible, and I've got a 555 timer in there as well. And you can kind of see how big they are. I've got about 16 of these in this box, so those will easily fit in the palm of my hand, and this box is somewhat larger than the palm of my hand. So as we saw in the last video, the packaging for all the components that show up in these boxes may seem excessive to the untrained eye, but I argue that it's absolutely required from both a protection of the company standpoint, the company that's distributing the components to you. They want to avoid any returns or any defects in their products. And for your protection, you want to make sure that you get the products that you ordered to the exact specifications, that they're not faulty, and that they show up in somewhat of a reasonable categorization, so they're easy to find. So with that said, let's take a look at how Texas Instruments packages their integrated circuits and see how it compares to Arrow Electronics. So before we start, let's set a baseline, and just to compare from last time, here are all the components I got in that large box last time from Arrow Electronics. If I were to stick those 16 or so chips in here, they would probably occupy maybe the bottom third of this bag. Now this box, let's see, it's from FedEx. Here are the dimensions on the back. They are about 11 by 12 by 1.5 inches roughly, and the metric dimensions are here, roughly 30 by 4 by 30 centimeters. So let's open it up. I'm just going to dump everything out on the table because my hand won't fit into this slot. And all these tiny little boxes come out of here. So this is probably where they put all the chips. Ugh. It's a little hard for me to reach in here. There we go. And what else we got? Okay. We got some papers, as expected, and some bubble wrap. So let's get this stuff out of the way, and let's take a look at what TI sent us. All right, I've tidied things up so we can pay attention to the important stuff. We've got these boxes over here that contain all the integrated circuits, and we've got the paperwork here that describes the order that I made. Apparently it's pretty urgent, but I'm not going to pay attention to this right now because I want to look at the ICs. All right, so these boxes look much like what Arrow set up their packages as. They're not anti-static containers, no Mylar here, but I suspect inside we'll have some anti-static shielding. The label on the outside, much like Arrow does, has the quantity and the part number, and it's got a bunch of other stuff that I can't make sense of other than Texas Instruments made in Malaysia. 74LSO2, that is a NOR gate if I'm not mistaken, and we got two inside. So I'll open this thing up. I've already cut the tape off of these things so we can get in quickly, and there we have it. So this is anti-static foam, and if we peel this off, yes, the chips are on the inside and they're sandwiched between the foam, so almost impossible to short these things out in transit and damage them. Well done, TI. Thank you for doing that. Okay, let's put this aside. I have another one here. Let's see, where are the 555s? Not this one, not this one. Yeah, down here. This one I taped up because it wouldn't stay shut. So these are 555s right there. These are obviously 8-pin chips. They're going to be much smaller than the other ones. 2 in the box, made in Malaysia, and some other stuff. Let's see what we got here. Yep, anti-static foam and the 2 tiny 555 chips. All right. Now for the paperwork. It's hot and it's urgent, but interesting, it's only 5 pages. Compared to what Aero provided, this is much more compact and smaller in terms of what you have to read and go through. Now, the interesting thing about this is that each of my orders, so the 74LSO2, 06, and so forth, they all have this check mark next to them, and the initials that have been placed over here, presumably by the person that's doing quality assurance to make sure that the order is okay, also show up on all of these boxes. There is BC in the same handwriting over here. So that's nice that somebody is checking what goes in these boxes and comparing them against what has been ordered. And what's missing from here when you compare it against Aero's paperwork are those 3 guarantees about the contents that are being delivered to you. So there is no guarantee about the accuracy of the specifications of your order. So in this case, we have digital components which don't have tolerances like resistors do, and they don't have varying electrical characteristics. So that really doesn't apply. You're getting a digital output. It's either a 1 or a 0, and it's going to correspond to the data sheet every single time unless the component is faulty. And then there's a note about military specifications. I didn't order anything that has military standards or military specifications, and presumably that's why we don't see anything in here about that. Finally, the third guarantee that was made by Aero are that the components you ordered come from the manufacturer that you requested. Well, in this case, all these components are manufactured from Texas Instruments, and I bought it directly from Texas Instruments, so there's no need to put that guarantee at all. So the only thing of interest on this document is this last paragraph over here, which is an export restriction paragraph, very similar to the one that Aero provides. And it basically says that the items that were sold to me are only allowed to be used in the country of ultimate destination, which is in this case the United States, for use by the ultimate consignee or end user, which in this case is myself. And that I can't resell them or transfer them or dispose of them in any country or to any person other than myself or the United States, which is really bizarre. And if I want to do otherwise, I have to ask the permission of the U.S. government, unless I've had pre-authorization from some form of law. So maybe there's an exemption in here that says, based on fair use, I could throw these in the garbage in Canada or something to that effect. And the last page has some more verbiage that basically makes a warranty statement on the components. And basically it says that if any of these components have been sitting on the shelf for more than 2 years, then TI basically guarantees that they meet the original specifications as listed in the data sheet at the time of design. So that's really nice. I guess some people are concerned that stuff that's sitting on the shelf for over 2 years old has maybe produced a defect over that time. Who knows? But really nice for TI to make that guarantee. Well, there you have it. A brief overview of how Texas Instruments distributes their integrated circuit products and a comparison of the included packaging and documentation with those of Aero Electronics. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope you find this information useful. Please feel free to leave your comments in the discussion below and to use the like and dislike buttons at your leisure. Don't forget to subscribe for more content, and I hope to see you back soon.